Okay, so I have Jake Angelakis here on the podcast, also known as Astral Irma on YouTube. Is someone that speaks on awakening topics, starseeds, astral travel, um, all the goings on of the global awakening going right now, and he's very obviously here to assist and guide and teach. So, welcome to the podcast, Jake, and maybe you could just
Hey,
give people an idea for people that don't know who you are.
yeah,
What's
thanks
up?
for having
Yeah.
me, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. My name is
Yeah.
Jacob Angelakis, aka Astral Irma, and I have been lucid dreaming and astral traveling all my life. It's my forte, and I'm an extraterrestrial contactee and researcher. Obviously, meeting a lot of beings in the astral. Um, and yeah, I'm just here on Earth to do my part as one of the star seeds, and help us maintain and grow the frequency of this planet. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. So I guess what would be the best way to describe for people if we could just start with like what's going on right now and the sort of intense awakening, the intense like I guess you could say pressure cooker effect that especially a lot of these leaders in consciousness that are kind of on that cutting edge that I guess you're speaking to um maybe like, they know they're not really of they're in this world but they're not of this world. It's always been a strange experience navigating. um Maybe you could speak a little bit to the awakening and what's the various factors.
Yeah, to the awakening and to the star seeds.
Well, both. I mean,
Okay,
specifically this time because I know we all came for this time, but it
right.
can be a daunting, crazy, massive tidal wave of crap,
Yeah.
and people are going through it now.
Well, my message to the star seeds is, you signed up for this time. You signed up and you've come to Earth at this time in order to help guide humanity back to the stars, basically. We've come to hold high frequency because we all come from very high frequency civilizations. Speaking to the star seed specifically, and we're here to answer all the hard questions for ourselves of who are we, where do we come from, why are we here, what do we do to step into our callings. These are all very personal questions that we need to answer for ourselves. Now, it's okay to get confirmation from other people, but it's really important that the answer comes from within.
Yeah, and that's something I have to say I appreciate about you because a lot of the things I've watched, it's just like you speak on so many different topics and certain things are just like I have just no clue what he's even talking about. This is just very advanced and very like I don't know what to think. And but I really appreciate that you will tell people directly, tune into your own intuition, see if you trust it, see if you and you make a point to say, no one's perfect, no one is all knowing. So you're very much about making helping people take their power back, which I think is a really good thing. You're not trying to shove anything down at anyone's throats. Um, if you could just speak to a little bit of like your, I guess, star race or your star lineage as the Irma and what that is for people that don't know.
Yeah, I am an Irma. I am a walk-in in immersion, which is basically means that I came to Earth through technology called an immersion pod. Now, the Federation has this program called the Immersion Program where countless races come in to Earth through immersion technology. I'm an Irma. My race is, originally from Lyra. We are the most, dominant cat cat race in this quadrant of the galaxy or in the galaxy. We're very highly spiritual, a very highly spiritual race. I'm also Taigetan, Tyget and Pleiadian. So what I'll do is I'll incarnate into one race and then the next race and then the next race, and sometimes I'll loop, and that's very, very common for a lot of us. And if you feel like you're part of this race, but you're also part of this race, that's why, is because you are, you know. Um, so it is true that, the extraterrestrials, in space, they don't know everything. They still make mistakes. They aren't perfect and they make mistakes as well.
Yeah.
So,
What would you say? I mean, why do you think it's such a weird and difficult and disorienting experiences for the Starseeds being here?
because we are a frequency mismatch with the events going on down here. We're not where we come from in space is totally different. We have a service to others mentality. We're not greedy in the sense that we're always going out trying to say me, 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 me. So coming into and incarnating into a reality where it's the total opposite of where we come from, and a lot of things are like that. There are a lot of differences between the civilizations of where we come from and what we're doing here. But we came here to experience, it's like getting on a roller coaster. And from that point of view, from space, we see Earth as a game. We see it, we don't take it as seriously as when we're here. When we're here, we take it incredibly seriously. But from there, not so much. We see it as a very intense, challenging incarnation, something that is going to feed our soul and to gain experience.
I see. So this concept of multidimensionality existing many places at once, how do you juggle this? And how do you even help people wrap their heads around it? Because I think a lot of people are dealing, maybe listening to this interview, they've always felt just this massive, these tidal waves and the stream of psychic information. They've always felt deeply in their heart. They have a hard time living in the world, hard time dealing with people, relationships. They need to retreat. How do they like get a handle on this and make sense of it and develop a frame for it? I guess.
Okay. Well, yes, it's true that there are infinite amount of dimensions and densities, and you exist in all of them because you are source. Your body is a filter and limits you to a specific frequency range of perception where you have your five senses. You know, um, the the matrix is what's challenging you. See, it reads your thoughts and your emotions and it reflects back to you the experience that it thinks you want, or it will even test you. And that's really important to remember, that this is a test. This is only a test. I mean, a lot of times, we get so serious, and we take things a little too seriously while we're down here. I really do feel like that's happening a lot.
Yeah, and maybe you could speak a little to, just to change gears, the twin flame idea and or maybe that's such a charged term now, but maybe like this resonant soul, or this soul who is of the highest match, and people that are seeking it. Maybe you could speak to that for a second.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we really want to know who we are. That is one of the main questions that we ask ourselves, is who am I? And, there are certain people that have, not everybody has a twin flame per se. But in my opinion, from my point of view, but a lot of star seeds do play that game, where they will incarnate the same soul into two different bodies. Um, and I've definitely met my match, and it didn't go so well. And a lot of people that I've heard that have met their match hasn't gone so well either, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so it is a moment of, and it is a time of activation, and it is a time of awakening. But you know, it's a matter of seeing. It's a matter of triggering each other. You know what I mean? When you meet your twin flame, a lot of triggers come up. A lot of your emotional wounds, your traumas, your abandonment issues. All of these things come to the surface, and you need to take a hard look at them. It's not something that you can just kind of pass off. You know. Um, and
So
that's really what the awakening, the twin flame awakening, is about for me.
so you would say that every one person does have that one match, or is it could be
Uh,
multiple?
you know, if you, I don't think that everybody does, but if you feel like in your heart that there's somebody out there that is the one, that's probably your twin flame pulling, pulling or pushing on your energy, or you're vibrating with that, with her consciousness, um, or with their consciousness. Yeah, I always felt like growing up, like there was somebody out there that I was missing and I was looking for her. Eventually, after 20 years or whatever, I gave up. But she found me one day, and it was everything I ever dreamed, and it was not like I wanted. She was married, and she's married to an NPC, and she has
Mhm.
a kid, and she's living her life, and she's too scared to change, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was really hard for me, that, oh my gosh, the one that I'm gonna be the one that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, the one that I thought that I was, supposed to spend the rest of my life with, is choosing to be with an NPC over her own soul, was
Yeah.
very damaging and hurt.
Yeah.
It drove me into an extreme state of anger and frustration, for a while, and I had to work through that.
And what would you say is the main difference between what you might call like what distinguishes a starseed from an earthbound soul, or I don't know, however you would say
Yeah, so
it?
there's a couple of different ways that souls get to Earth. One, they incarnate straight from Source, and two, they incarnate into 5D, which is space. It's simply just space. Anything outside of Earth is in a higher density. Um, is in what we call the fifth density. There really are no densities. There really are no dimensions. It's all just one big soup of consciousness and frequencies, and we're just these points of attention that are, perceiving a specific range. But we use these, terms like 5D and 6D and 3D in order to uh, explain things, in order to have a frame of reference of what we're talking about, the specific range. So, yeah, so the difference between the souls is the star seeds, a lot of them are coming through the immersion program. Um, and they're coming from all of their different races, and there's a couple of telltale signs of whether you're in immersion. One of them is if you look around the world and it just seems fake to you, and it seems like that's a good, that's a good telltale sign that you're interfacing. It's like if you put on some VR goggles and went into the metaverse, you would be able to tell that it was fake, right?
Mhm.
So that's sort of the same type of idea. Um, Souls that incarnate straight from source, this is the reality that they know. This is a very real, real world to them. Me personally, the real world is the astral. That's where I've had, it's much more real than it seems here.
Yeah. So that's was going to be my next question. How do you how do you explain what the astral is to someone, and why do you feel like there's this, to you've said it's more real than this reality? Um, for those who would be capable of accessing it, why would they be motivated to do so?
Okay, the reason why they would be motivated to do so is because it's a whole new training ground. You get to experience things like flying, or you're only limited by your imagination, basically. So, but it's a training ground for manifestation, for the ability you're learning how to manipulate energy in such a way that you can have the experience that you want to have. Because ultimately, that's why you're here. You're here on Earth to create a reality, to create your experience, and to live the experience that you want to live. Um, not not to suffer. You're not here to suffer. You're not here to, you know, even though suffering and being sad and stuff is part of it comes with the territory, so to speak. But it's all about experiencing what you want to experience. Now, I want to experience feeling expanded. Okay. So I came into limitation. I came to Earth so that I could feel limited in order to experience the opposite, because you can't experience expansion unless you experience limitation first. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to me, life is all about a balance between limitation and expansion. And the expansion is what you can experience in the astral realms. And the astral realms are, you know, they're physical and non-physical belief system territory realms. Um, there's an infinite amount of them. People that say, the ether. The ether is the astral. Um, it's
Yeah.
when you sum it all up, all that exists is consciousness, frequency, and ideas. And that's what the astral is. The astral is infinite consciousness, infinite ideas, and infinite frequencies.
How would someone go about doing it? That's a
Well,
more complicated question, but
there's a lot of, even just practicing it without even succeeding at it is good for you. Uh,
meditation, for example.
yeah, meditation.
Yeah.
People can experience the astral a few different ways. You can experience it through meditation. You can do astral projection, out of body experiences, or lucid dreaming. All of it is access to the astral. All of it gives you an astral type experience.
What a lot of people experiencing when they're dreaming, what would you say that is? Is that the subconscious filtering activities and things that you do out in the astral? If you're not quite
When,
conscious of your
when
astral body yet?
regular dreaming can
Yeah,
be,
like
yeah, regular dreaming can be your subconscious just regurgitating the day's events or the week's events, you know.
okay.
Um, you got to if you want to be able to lucid dream, you got to get beyond that kind of regurgitation type of thing, and you have to kind of reprogram your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind needs to be clear, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
That's what it has to do with. You kind of have to reprogram it, you know. Growing up, we've been programmed by society to see the physical world as the only real world. We've been, and that is the exact type of mentality that is going to keep somebody from actually lucid dreaming. In lucid dreaming, we actually have to see the dream world as the real world, and it's, that belief system that's going to allow somebody to access it.
Yeah, and I've heard you say before that all the events that happen there then eventually happen here in one form or another. So it's almost like that world sets the tone for this world.
It can, yes. It actually, what happens in this world, affects that world, and what happens in that world affects this world. But yes, the changes, like a lot of the times, like we've seen floods there, and then the floods have happened here. It seems like there's like a few months to a 6 month delay. Things that happen there between things that happen there and things that happen here.
What would you say for the people that are just suffering a lot right now and feeling paralyzed by this world?
Um,
Feeling like and this refrain that Starseeds will say, this is so stupid, I don't want to be here, I'm not
right.
part of this, I'm homesick,
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
don't get it, I don't fit in, I'm depressed, I'm this and that,
Right.
self-destruction.
That's a tough question. I could say a few things. One of them I would say is, look, right now you're experiencing limitation. Okay, that's what the suffering is limitation. And even though you don't remember agreeing to experience this limitation, you did agree to come here and at least have the at least have the risk of experiencing suffering. But the only thing that you need to that there really is it's the suffering of ideas. It's the suffering of your own ideas. It's the idea of suffering. That's what's causing you to suffer. So my message to the star seeds that are suffering is change your ideas. Take sovereignty over your own thoughts, over your own emotions, and make a free will choice to experience what you want to experience. See, these external, forces, these external entities want to make us feel confused or want us to suffer or whatever so they can because they live off of that energy. But they can't do it unless they have our agreement, unless we agree with them. So what we need to do is simply not agree with them. We need to agree with ourselves. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's about not having a deterministic mindset. It's about recognizing when your mindset is going into determinism and and using that as an opportunity to change it and to make a free will sovereign choice.
And could you speak a little bit more to the immersion pods? Because I found this when I first heard you talk about it, I was like, wow, that's like, it was like really hard to wrap my head around it because I was like, it just seems so surreal. Like it can't be. But then, that feeling of like my perception of time and life has always been very strange. That feeling of being in a bubble, that feeling of everything being so fake and synthetic. Um,
Mm,
I think the best way to define starseed would be like we have a very I think we do have like the pulse of the eternal. Like we feel the place that is outside of space and time, like we carry it in us.
yeah.
But it's almost we are so in such a different density than this world. It's almost like we're beaten down really badly because we're told we're dysfunctional, crazy, you're a freak, you're this, you're that. And the programming takes so long to reprogram from childhood. Like,
Mm,
because you're hypersensitive, you just pick up on energies from the ether, as you called it, like um because I was like, no, it can't be. It can't be like literally what the Matrix is, like literally from the movie. I was like, that's crazy because they really were showing us maybe the instruction manual, but can you just sort of get into it? Because I feel like people would hear it and be like, what? Is that even real? Like,
yeah. So basically, what happened was there was a spaceport in ancient Egypt. The stellar people were coming down. There was a spaceport, so they were coming and going constantly. Okay, the humans, the native humans there, saw the stellar people coming and going, saw that they had advanced technology, and saw that they had advanced knowledge and wisdom, and started putting them up on pedestals, worshiping them, and making them and turning them into gods. So the stellar people, you know, they realized that there was no way that they were going to help humanity by coming down and helping them. That's why I'm always talking about no saviors from the sky. because there's not going to be any savers from the sky. We've already tried that. It did not work. So what happened was we took the medbed technology and the entertainment pod technology, and we put them together and came up with the immersion pod to basically to come to Earth so that we could send our consciousness signal to a human avatar, and now we could be humans guiding the humans. So we're playing human. The extraterrestrials, the starseeds, are just playing human. Okay, and we're here to guide humanity from the
Yeah.
inside. From the inside, because guiding them from the outside does just not work.
Yeah. It's hard for me to wrap my head around. Like I feel like I've been through this intense awakening the last few years, as many have that are probably listening. This quickening, like it's starting to go at light speed where you just can't even process all of it with your mind. But what do you say to someone who's like, yeah, Jake, you're kind of like, you're throwing too much at me at once. I can't handle this. Like you're telling me I'm an alien. I'm an alien, but I'm in a human suit and I'm like in disguise.
Yeah, I
What do
mean,
you say? Because
Earth.
you know you feel like you're star family and soul family with these people, but they're not quite turned on yet. Like even me, I get a little bit scared, like almost spooked when I hear it, but it's almost because of a knowing too, maybe, you know?
I think it's your programming, your earthly programming that might be getting spooked. Um, hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
But what if you're like, someone's just like you're trying to act special. You're trying to act like you're better than but really, we're all
y-
equal and we're all God. We're all
yeah, the more you
that
wake up,
whole
the more you realize that there is no, hierarchy. There is no
yeah,
better. There is no better than. There are infinite amount of souls more advanced than me, and there's an infinite amount of souls less advanced than me. So no matter how more advanced I get, there's still an infinite amount that are more advanced than me and an infinite amount that are less. I'm always in the middle, and that's true for each one of us. So there is no hierarchy. There is no I'm better than you or whatever. I'm just simply here to spread the truth as I see it, to help the star seeds wake up, because we can't wake up humanity unless we wake up ourselves first.
yeah.
And that's really what happens is if we wake up and we come together and we create holistic societies together, we all step into our callings, and then that is going to ripple out, because the matrix has to reflect what's going on within us. And so if we come together in love and peace and brotherhood and sisterhood, and we create these communities and we live and we just don't subscribe to those ideas that the external world is trying to force down our throat, um, that's how we do it. That's how it works.
But can you just a little bit more on the immersion pod? Can you explain how that actually works? A
How
little
the
a
how
little
the
bit more.
immersion pod works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Basically, okay, there are no wires. It's all wireless. So you go into the immersion pod and you breathe in this liquid, and your body goes into stasis. And the signal, the AI and I know I'm talking about AI and talking against AI, but there's two different types of AI. There's AI and then there's SI. There's the synthetic intelligence and then there's the artificial intelligence, the galactic, artificial intelligence, which we use, AI all the time in all sorts of things in space. So anyway, the signal, your consciousness signal, that's what your point of attention is. That's what your consciousness is a signal. And that signal is transferred from your body in the pod to your avatar on Earth.
How do you deal with that maybe loneliness or that certain feeling that you can only connect with a limited amount of people?
Um, I mean, I try to have as much interaction with people as possible. And that's why I love the one-on-one sessions with people. Um, and connecting with the other star seeds. We're scattered all over the planet, you know, and it's really tough. It's not easy dealing with the loneliness of it all. I have a really hard time with it. I have a really hard time with it. But I recognize that it's my idea because the separation between us, the separation, the loneliness is just an idea that's not even real because there is no separation. Separation is just an illusion. It's just an idea, and it's not even a good idea.
I see.
Yeah. So if we can perceive ourselves as source, then we can perceive and we can experience the connection between us all, you know?
I personally have a hard time understanding it. Like just because I'm guessing we've done this many, many times coming in here to
Hmm.
Earth, and it just feels like, I guess, being in a washing machine, it feels like it's so repetitive and you could just do it for thousands and thousands of years or whatever. And it's just like the same thing every time. And then I get more depressed because I feel like, wait, how could this be reality? How could this be the reality and the person and the perception that I'm experiencing? It's like I'm in a nightmare. You know what I mean? And I know you've mentioned that thing about determinism, about like, it's a victim mentality to say, oh, it's happening to me, like, woe is me. And you can shift it to be like, all right, I can transmute all this, I can transform all this. But I just think that the speed at which some of us, as the starseeds, are awakening now is so fast, and it's coming online so powerfully that it's like hard to fathom sometimes, because you just feel light years and light years away from most of reality.
Mm,
Like you just can't connect with them at all. It's like you just can't even get through.
yeah.
So
It's the challenges, man. It's the challenges we signed up for. I mean, you're talking about the most advanced souls. You know how many people don't come to Earth and don't even dare come to Earth? You know, 99.9% of your civilization won't even dare come to Earth. You know, only the most advanced souls dare come here and to experience this. Now, we have attachments to this place. This is why we keep coming back, is because of our attachments. If you don't want to come back, you have to release your attachments to this world. You have
would
to
you
no
say
longer.
that is that something like having kids or having a long lost lover or experiencing betrayal, things like this?
Sure. Yeah, all of those ideas. Everything is an idea, and your attachment to that idea is what builds your soul. That is what your soul is. Your
So
soul, yeah.
the stuff that people, I asked you this before, but the stuff that people experience in near death experiences, because there's so many of them out there,
Hmm.
that follows their belief of what heaven is or what a spirit guide is or what the afterlife is.
Right. You're going to experience what you expect to experience. Because after death, your consciousness, you retain your identity after death. You retain your ideas, you retain your belief systems. So you bring that with you into the astral. You bring all those things with you into the astral, and it's your level of awareness of when you die that's really important, is how aware are you. Some people will die suddenly and not even know they're dead, and they'll go on recreating their entire life and still living out their life in the astral almost exactly identically like they did on Earth, you know. And that's
Because
what.
it's that similar where you wouldn't be able to distinguish.
Yes,
Or
exactly. Some people that are dead don't know they're dead. I was in fact in a astral realm recently. I was out of body, and I was in the realm of these people that are dead. And I was like, "Am I dead?" I was asking myself, "Am I dead?" I did not know whether I had passed on or not, and I was
yeah,
with all these other people that had passed on. So, I guess I really understand what they're going through, you
It's
know?
it's like purgatory. It's like the closest
It,
thing to what purgatory is
I mean,
because they
purgatory is the idea that you're kind of in like this waiting cycle. Yeah. You could relate it to that. You could relate it to that.
What would you say for people that are experiencing extreme exhaustion? And do you think that's a valid feeling right now for what's gone on the past 5, 6 years?
Exhaustion is so valid. I mean, you're doing everything you're doing during the day. And then whether you guys know it or not, if you're Starseeds, you wake up exhausted because you've been on missions in the Astral all night long, kicking ass there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're working during the day, you're working at night. You're not getting any rest. And that's why I'm so keen on people getting to the higher realms. I've been spending a lot of time in what I call the realm of the seven suns, and it is literally up there in the upper astral where there are seven suns in the sky. And you just basically you're expanded to the point where you can spend hours up there, and then you spend so much time up there so expanded you start to crave limitation.
huh, yeah,
Okay, so it's the opposite of what you're talking about. Right now people are feeling so limited, they're craving expansion so much.
yeah,
There, there's a place you can get to where it's the opposite. And in space, the reason why we come to Earth is to experience limitation, because in space we experience so much expansion. And it just puts everything into a new perspective being here. So everything that we're doing down here is going to benefit us when we get back. And that's something to really keep in mind, is that there's a reason we're going through what we're going through.
yeah. And would you say this is very much an unprecedented lifetime? And what exactly makes it so?
I think it's because it's almost as though we are the nexus point of all of ourselves. Okay, so it's almost as though I feel like all of my failed timelines have somehow integrated into me now in this nexus point. And I feel like Earth right now is at a nexus point. We're at a pivotal moment in history where we can go one of two directions. And I think a lot of people here are either are from the future, and they're coming back, and because you can come through an immersion pod from the future to this timeline. If you were to, you know, think about the Matrix and the future of what it looks like, with the Sentinels and all that is run by the synthetic intelligence. All of those, they're harvesting, energy from people, from the pods and everything else. I think that some people come from futures like that, and they're here to warn against it. But there are people from all over the place that are coming here into this timeline for such a time as this, to help the planet, to help humanity get on the right foot. And I think we are on the positive timeline. I really,
Yeah.
really.
And can I ask, speaking of spiritual warfare and the work you do, what's the best way you could define that? And like your orientation, your life philosophy as you could say an Irma warrior or an Astral warrior. What is that mentality and what is the foundation of like what motivates you and also like what's the mechanic of that? Is it like transmutation and I'm curious about that.
The first thing is absolute fearlessness. Absolute fearlessness. Our race is just fearless. because we know that we can't die. If we die, we'll just reincarnate again as another cat or whatever, you know. So realizing your source and understanding that your source, and that's, that's the Irma perspective. Now we're very highly spiritual and we really want to help. We have a service to others mentality. I don't remember your other question.
Basically, what's the mechanics of spiritual warfare? Is it transmutation? Is it
Yes, it's integration and transmutation.
okay?
Yeah, you have to be the energy alchemist.
So it's like you have the shadow awareness, integration of shadow, integration of
Mm-hmm.
dark.
Yep.
But you have a mentality. I mean, it's clear that your mentality is not like all love, light, and rainbows, and we're all perfect, and we're all going to ascend, and like these
I
things.
wish.
Like you see a
I
lot of
mean,
that. Like
yeah, I can see the appeal to it because there's so much suffering, but those people are looking outside of themselves. I mean, they're still putting the extraterrestrials up on pedestals.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They're waiting for a ship from the sky to come save them and bring them med beds. It's like,
yeah, and that's its own, and that creates or projects a certain reality into the hologram, right? If a
yeah,
mass of people, like you've said
yeah,
about egregores, these thought creations, these mass creations of thoughts. So in a way, it's almost like a battle of like, how strong is your will that you want to say, I want to impose, I believe in love so much, and I believe in healing and the turning around of this sick, inverted planet, whatever, that's
mhm,
lost its way, that I'm going to impose. And then, hopefully these starseeds are getting together and saying, no, we're willing this reality into being. We're going to dictate with the force of our beliefs.
right.
Is it kind of
Yes, with the force of our beliefs and our agreements collectively, we all need to come on and get on the same page. And that's what coming together is. That's why it's so important. We should come together and we should have worldwide healing centers, astral healing centers, dream centers, whatever you want to call them, where everybody gets to step into their calling, because we all have pieces of the puzzle, and we bring those pieces together. We're gonna see the big picture.
yeah. And if I could ask, it's a personal question about me, but maybe others listening can relate to this as regards to just the matrix and how things work here. When I sit around and I'm stagnant and I'm not doing much, or I'm not connecting with soul family, or kind of being loving, or making an impact in some way, or tapping into my heart, I almost feel like there's always this encroaching kind of energy that's just like, the best way to say it would be just degeneracy,
Yeah,
whether it's thoughts or crap or just
yeah.
junk that's like always there. If I'm not, I know you work out physically, you do jujitsu and stuff, and like that's part of your routine, energy clearing, things like this. Why is it always like we always need to be basically training our mind and body every day?
Hmm.
And what are your practices there for people that could maybe benefit to hear?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. That's a tough question for me. I'd have to think about that for a minute. Because
Yeah.
I flux. I go from eating extremely healthy and working out and meditating to I get a little lax with it. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously, eating healthy and working out, um, all of the things that you would do for a good hygiene is also going to help you in the astral for your astral hygiene. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure how to answer. I'm not sure how to answer that question, bud.
Yeah. I understand. We could circle back or something another time, but
Yeah.
where do you think, because I think we connect on that point, and probably people listening, where does that fire, and you could even say rage, that warrior spirit for people that are listening, where does it originate and why do we have it? Like I somewhat know, but I want you to like speak to it a little bit. Like
Yeah, I
how can
mean,
we, because we know we crave and hunger for change. We hunger. Some
right.
people came in with that warrior mentality, but they're just not quite able to make it click and make it like really step into their full power and purpose, you know? But it's in them.
Mm-hmm. Man, you're asking some tough
Okay.
questions now.
All right, yeah.
Um, I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I would take that on a case by case basis, but I believe that our warrior spirits are things that we have developed from being literal warriors for countless lifetimes. You know, um, we're if you think about it, we're all time travelers. We're hopping around from lifetime to lifetime, experiencing all these things. This is just where we are here and now. But if we
Yeah.
could expand our frequency range of perception, we would recognize and we would be able to see, like in my lucid experiences and my astral experiences, I will wake up in parallel reality bodies and I'll be on a mission or I'll be doing something or I'll experience something else. So we are experiencing multiple things at the same time. But that warrior spirit is something in each one of us that we have been working on and developing for lifetimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like that feeling that you just can't sit around and do nothing, or
Mhm.
you can't listen to stupidity, or you can't listen to you just need to speak up. You need to make your voice heard. Um, any other words of advice for people right now?
I think I've said
Yeah.
everything that I need or I feel like I should have said. I just want to encourage everybody listening that you are the key. You are the key to all of this. That if you go and you find that quiet, peaceful light inside of your heart, and that is just rippling out to everybody, that's what's going to change the world. That's what your calling is. That's what we're doing here. We're holding the high frequency. So I just want to encourage everybody to continue holding the high frequency. I mean, we are the love and we are the light, but we don't have an ostrich in the our head in the sand type of mentality. We can recognize, I'm saying like you can recognize and be aware of the things happening in the world, but not give your attention to it. You can be aware of things happening in politics, but not give your attention to it. Your intention is sacred. And, be careful of where you place your attention, what you put your attention on. That's going to create your reality and that's going to create your perception. So that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks so much for your time, Jake.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. I'll